In order to use the Angles module, you right click on the chart, do Show Panel, and go to the Angles tab. The Squareouts tab is also included with the Angles module, but it has its own separate tab. The Angles module has two different types, or actually three different types. The ones in this column, you click on one point to generate the angles. This one you click on 2 points, and this one you also click on 2 points. You have to draw a line, but this one is from low to low or high to high, and this one is from low to high or high to low. I'll just start by showing the standard. This is just 1 point per bar. If it's a daily chart, it'll be showing one point per day. You just click on one point. So for example, you would click on standard, then click on the point, this turning point here, and it will draw the lines. Now if you want to edit this and delete it, you click on Edit Angles, and it will bring up the Edit Angles configuration window. And if you want to delete it, you just select it and press delete. I'm going to draw that again and show you some of the parameters that can be configured. You can specify the direction. It doesn't make sense to do it in this case, but in some cases you might want to have lines going down on a bottom pivot. Let's do an example of one. Let's do an up example. You'll go down on a top pivot. You can go up on with that as well. So let's see what that looks like. What you can also do is control the number of angles. If you want to add angles, this describes each one as there's a 1 to 4, 1 to 2, a 1 to 1, a 2 to 1, and a 4 to 1 being drawn. If you want to add one, you can add the 1 to 3, or you could draw the 3 to 1 here. You can also use numbers in between, such as 1.5 to 1. And you can also use the angle multiplier. So you can take all the angles, multiply them by this number so they all move up. Or you could do 0.5. Square root of price takes a square root of the price and creates angles based off of that. You just click the low or the high. And in this case, you're going to need to use an angle multiplier. From 0, we'll draw a line from the 0 point, from this line, from this point all the way, dropped all the way to 0, and then it'll draw lines. So if you click one point right there and then do an undo zoom, we have to go farther back, it looks like. So if we go back to 2000 and apply, and then we'll do a from 0 from this point right here, and then you can see the lines that it's drawn. So these are more potential support and resistance lines. Now another thing you can do is you can go to the weekly, you can draw lines there. They will also show up on the daily and all lower time frames. If you see this on the weekly, then if you go back to the daily, it'll show the one that you created on the weekly and also on the daily, the 0 time frame. I'm going to delete both of these now. The user-defined angle basically is another way to allow you to create your own angle. If I click on this and I draw from, click right here, it will allow me to use this user-defined slope. This is not used in any of the other type of angles, but you can use it for this particular user-defined slope. So you could do anything. You could have a slope of 3.14. And then you can do the same thing as create more angles, modify the angle multiplier, etc. So let's move this back so that it doesn't have as much data on it. Another thing you can do is do the selected points. This goes from low to low or high to high. If I do this and then I go and I draw on the chart, I draw from this line or this point to this one, and it'll draw, based on that slope, it'll draw the other angles. And this allows you to use the actual movements of the market to define what your angles are. Now the harmony of discord is mainly an intraday method, so I'm going to come back to that in a minute, but I'm going to go to the Squareouts to show how this works. What this does is it creates a square out. It uses a zigzag rate, so you can, and this is used to calculate the turning points. When you click on this box right here, it's going to go out and calculate the zigzag, 5% zigzag on this market. It's going to do the turning points based on the ones generated by the zigzag. And then you want to draw something from low to low. So I'm going to draw from this low to this low. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so I can get that. Okay, so I'm going to do a square out, and I'm going to draw from this low to this low. It takes the highs that it found, or any turning point, and it projects them out forward in order to find potential turning points. So it's squaring out this low, and this low is squaring out this high. It's finding this as a turning point right here. So depending on the zigzag rate that you choose and the points that you choose, you can get more or less turning points out of this. And then you can also combine these with the other methods, such as planetary time projections, to see if you get any confluence. Going back to the harmony of discord angle, the ES on a 60-minute time frame, and go back to the 1st of July. And this one you want to go from low to high. We'll choose this low and this high. And the lines are drawn, and you can then also, so you can use the angle multiplier to get your turning points. Now this module should really is meant to be used with the Harmony of Discord time system, which is an intraday system, but since it's an angle, it's part of the angles module. But you make the most use out of it if you used it with the Harmony of Discord module.